Come on. Yeah, the fabulous 8-Bit Bros program. You can check them out here on Ironic Radio Network. 8-Bit Bros. That's number 8. Then bit. Then bros. One word. I strongly encourage you to stay tuned for that. And if you want, they also have a Facebook page and a much better live show. Anyway, 8-Bit Bros, 8 p.m., Ironic Radio Network.
It's 8 o'clock, and you know what that means.
Oh, what's going on, people? It's time for another episode of the 8-Bit Bros. It is the late edition. And, seriously, what the fuck just happened in this country not a day ago? We're going to get into all that and more.
Oh, and more, yeah.
But this is not a kid-friendly show, and tonight probably most definitely will not be. So do the right thing, people. Put your kids in the closet.
See that 8-Bit Bros late edition Thursday, January 7th. I haven't done that in a very long time. I'm doing that to, I don't know, make sure a while back or future ahead I have reference to this episode, this show, our thoughts. I wanted to start tonight with something of, I don't even know. I don't know what to say. We don't condone, accept, adhere, like what we saw happen yesterday. I think I can say that and speak for the three of us. I really don't know where to go with it all. I mean, I really haven't slept. I stayed up and watched all until 3-something in the morning when Senate was done.
Oh, you stayed up and watched all of it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, nah. I didn't even tune into the news when it was happening. I literally got everything I got off the internet.
I did. I tuned in.
I mean, it was basically go to Twitter and you had a live stream of everything that was going on anyway. So this is, again, proves my point of this is what Twitter's useful for.
Yes.
Real-time news when shit is happening.
Real time. I was all over Twitter. Of course, on the TV had CNN or MSNBC, mainstream media. But I had my two devices to sit back and troll what I needed to troll, whether it be Reddit, Twitter, certain websites to see what the fuck was going on, try and put together my own story. Watch mainstream media. Fucking people, man. Tell the truth. Stop putting a twist on everything.
Doesn't get ratings. You know that.
What happened yesterday, and I'm sorry to say this, and I really don't give a fuck. What happened yesterday is bigger than the Black Lives Movement. Stop putting the two together. I think everybody gets it right now that if it was a bunch of black people who stormed the Capitol, there'd be hundreds dead. I don't think there's anybody in their right frame of mind who wouldn't agree with that statement. This is bigger than that. Stop. It was a direct assault on our fucking government. For the people, of the people, by the people.
And the shame,
I don't disagree with that. In many ways, yes. Does Trump have the COVID fog? Does he have COVID fog?
No, this is the same mentality and same behavior that he's been showing since I want to say July, maybe even June or May, when COVID wasn't wrapped up the way he wanted it wrapped up by Easter. I mean, this is the same behavior. Maybe you just weren't aware of it, or you weren't seeing it, or you didn't want to see it. But this behavior is no different. It's just now something happened that is bigger than big, that is really showing everything.
We've had. Go ahead, Tom. '14. 1814. 1814. 1812, but it happened in 1814. Started. Yeah. I agree with you completely. See, yeah, and I don't think I got a lot of thoughts in my head about everything, and I've really tried to take a stance and look at this through my own eyes, using independent media to tell me the story of what has happened. Not just how we got here, but definitely what happened yesterday. I know how we got here. We've talked about it before on this show. Right. I'm sure a lot of people out there think I am a Trump supporter. I've never said that. I supported some of his policies, and we've definitely debated them on this show.
Oh, yeah.
I never said I was a Trump supporter.
Well, no, you actually spoke out Tuesday at the very start of the broadcast about the fact that you know I don't support either of these two people.
Exactly.
And you were speaking of Biden and Trump, that you don't stand with either of these two people as people.
Yeah, I don't believe in a lot of the views from both sides. I was deathly afraid of Donald Trump as president. I was more afraid of the foreign policy. We've had those conversations, how we would stand up.
China released their statement today saying that what we've seen is a display of exactly what our leadership was.
You know, it's funny because I really would like to go there with that. I'm not prepared to yet.
I'm not either. This is the first article that I've seen on it, but it says it reflects leadership's failures in the United States.
Look, Donald Trump had a lot of failures. There's no doubt about that. And to constantly try and beat down into the heads of people that an election was stolen without providing any proof. And yes, I know. Who was the fucking senator? Oh, Jesus Christ, his name escapes me. I know we saw the stacks and stacks of papers that he was prepared to submit to Congress last night.
Gartham or something like Gartham. I can't remember his fucking name.
Ted Cruz sitting there with stacks, and I mean like 1,600 pages of paper that were considered to be, the evidence that he was prepared to submit last night.
Yeah, but that was the charge, and that was led by that one Senator Gartham or something like that. He was the one who supposedly was trying to say that Pence needed to take his executive power to its max extent.
Good luck. It's not there. Not for that. I don't... the media is a lot of media people out there are like, well, Trump incited a riot, and I watched the entire coverage of Trump's rally from independent news, live stream. I listened to his entire speech twice, hour and 25 minutes that it was. Twice I listened to it today. At no point does he say, let's go to the Capitol and beat the shit out of some people. At no point does he say, let's go to the Capitol and bust in and take over. He does say, let's march to the Capitol and cheer the vote. I don't think Trump is the one who incited the riot. I personally think it was Donald Trump Jr. and Rudy Giuliani. Is what definitely flared off yesterday's activities. Not that Trump isn't to blame for the months upon months of
doubt.
He says doubt? I would have used bullshit.
Well, the conveyance was doubt. Don't believe this, doubt it, don't agree with it, doubt it. Like, that was the rally cry of it was, don't take this as fact.
Look, anybody can say anything, but the letter of the law has always been innocent until proven guilty. What that basically means is if you want to bring charges against someone or something, you are responsible for the burden of proof. We never saw any proof of election fraud. Now, that's also debatable because we know a lot of courts just immediately didn't even let the paperwork hit their desk when they tossed it out. We know a lot of courts never even saw any of the evidence. We don't even know if any court ever saw any evidence. The point still is burden of proof. So it's like Trump almost trying to brainwash the entire fucking American people that this election was stolen.
Successfully.
And the other thing that I'm having an issue with our mainstream media is the fact that, A, they would not acknowledge that the Capitol Police opened gates to let protesters in. Meanwhile, everybody saw the video. It wasn't until that fucking idiot on CNN last night, Cuomo's brother, actually brought it up. We're not really hearing any media person point blame, in my opinion, in the right places, Antifa. I hear a lot of media reporters saying, stop with Antifa, these are Trump supporters. Just fucking do what I did last night and troll those fucking sites. Antifa was putting out messages. We're going to dress up in camo with our disguised magma hats on, and we're going to wear them backwards so you know who the fuck we are. So, you know, you don't beat up on the wrong people. It was all over the fucking internet. It was all over their social media. It was right on Reddit. But we're going to dismiss all that and blame it on the supporters. The supporters became rioters the minute they walked past those barricades, whether they were opened or you pushed them over. You became a rioter immediately. And as far as I'm concerned, I agree with Thump, prosecution to the fullest extent of the law.
Including the West Virginia GOP lawmaker that was also caught on film in... I mean, dude just got elected to his first term as state senate, and you are involved in a charge against the federal Capitol building?
Yep.
Like, there's questions at a minimum that need to be answered.
Oh, big time. I mean,
just at a minimum, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
I really believe this was planned and staged for quite some time.
Considering the fact that people were wearing MAGA Civil War January 6th, 2021 hoodies and T-shirts, yeah, I'd say it was planned.
I think the one thing that keeps replaying in my head, and I don't even think I know, the one thing that keeps replaying in my head over and over, and this is why it leads me to believe it's more of a planned attack, the debate. Stand by and stand down. Stand down and stand by. Whatever the words were that were used. How do you say that to a group that's being looked at as a terroristic threat to the country, whether they are or not, Proud Boys? We know it's more Antifa. I mean, you got the pictures of the fucking dude with the bullhorns. We know he's Antifa. We know what he did with the George Floyd protests. Why do you think they turned violent? I mean, and if you don't believe that, do some fucking research. Wake up. FBI denounced Antifa as even being a terroristic group. How do you feel about that now? Federal building, the Capitol, stormed. Broke the windows with sticks. What the fuck is that about? Anybody even question that? Shouldn't this building be bulletproof like the White House? And how do you break the windows with a stick, a flagpole? Shit's kind of funny. Yesterday was fucked up. Where it goes much deeper. This doesn't end. There's a lot of laws about this. And one of them being anybody who conspires to start a riot, to coup, take over the government, can never hold a government office. Ever.
Well, that's why I say the West Virginia lawmaker. I mean, this is a delicate spot because you have been sworn into office. You are an administrator at this point and representative of your state's government, because that's the position he holds. But
dude, you put your hand on the Bible and pledge to a fucking 270-something-year-old document, however old it is, 17.
Yeah, however the case may be. Yeah, you're like
that's more important than a doctor's oath or a policeman's oath. This is an oath.
It's supposed to hold more weight. Yeah.
This is an oath to serve the people. If the democracy is the only form of government where the people try and rule themselves.
Yeah, and we had done a pretty good job for a little while. There's argument to be made on whether or not we or they or have done so well here in the recent times, but
I give you a great conspiracy theory.
All right, posted as such, conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I was going to give it to what's his name? Ren Tim Simmons. The fuck was his name?
Tim Dillon.
No,
the guy from
No
what's
Filter.
his name show?
Oh,
I was going to give it to him, but here's a conspiracy theory for you. Okay, the Russians, the Chinese have been inflicting and infecting our elections for how long now? 2016, maybe earlier.
Yeah, we'll say as long as that their governments have had a reason for it.
2016. We'll go with that because we know that to be the case. I mean, they've already told us the Russians are trying to influence it. And then we had the only impeachments and bullshit over Russia. Who's to say Russia's not involved in this one? And China also. I mean, right. we just had the huge hack that they got into our government systems, and the hack's still going on. We don't really know how to fix it yet, even though Microsoft said they squashed it on their end. No one else seems to know. We don't know how many companies, and we know it's high profile. Okay. We know China's infiltrated our government by pretty much sending people over just to fuck them. I mean, that was news a couple weeks ago. We know Trump is so far in bed with Putin that maybe he's gotten so far into his head that they totally fucked the elections. Why would they do that? Taking down democracy, Russia, China, would be the greatest thing for this world in their eyes.
Two communistic countries.
And what do we as a nation? We pay other nations billions of dollars to follow the democratic way. We are instilling our politics to every third world country because we can make you better. What better way to attack the United States than to break the elections to show that it's fraudulent and not real? Therefore, democracy is a failure.
I mean, yes.
Conspiracy.
That would make sense to, I mean, and it's been the argument for why they've been meddling since 2016 at least anyway.
At least that we know of, that I know of. I'll go back. I don't know further than that. I didn't do research on it.
We'd say that Russia's been meddling since the Cold War in one way, shape, or another. So, I mean, we're talking about since like the late 70s and 80s. So,
yes. Thoughts on social media banning the current president until January 21st, day after the inauguration?
I believe his communication should be limited.
Ren, thoughts? Instagram?
I don't disagree with what Sam said right there. I think at this point in time, I mean, you can couple that with there's talks of, and it's not just Pelosi, but there is talks amongst many, many people, even our own little small circles, of he's mentally unstable. Maybe we should be invoking the 25th Amendment.
Yeah,
for the last 2 weeks.
Immediately removed from
power. It's really sad to say, because what much damage can he do within 2 weeks?
A lot.
Well, I mean, that's the impending theory right now is, you know, if this is or is not him.
Realistic.
Yeah, if this is or is not him, if this is, how much worse could it get if he continues to do what you're saying he's doing already? You know, how much worse could it get over that next 2 week period? Like, it, just the idea of that level of fear mongering is kind of, it needs to have a very serious look taken.
So he's got three options at this point. Which one do you think he takes? Does he lay low for the next 2 weeks and leaves the White House before inauguration, because we all know he won't be there, just out of spite for what happened to him when he was inaugurated? There's no way he's going to inauguration. They didn't.
It's a double-sided. It's a two-edged blade.
Option two, he steps down.
I don't think he's going to step down. I think he's going to need to be forcibly removed.
Option three is your 25th Amendment, aka / impeachment, because we know if Pence doesn't do it, Pelosi's going to. She already said that and put the pressure out there.
By the time she got everyone into the Senate chamber to impeach him, and then you have a trial and all that, there's no point.
You don't think those papers were already drawn up last night?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. The amount of time it would take to put him in front of Congress to get him impeached would...
Well, you don't even need to be in front of Congress. He wasn't there for the last one. Don't need to be there. Doesn't need to be there. And there
has to be a trial of some sort.
There is no way Giuliani could postpone it. It would be fast-tracked through Congress like no other. This is a national emergency. It would be immediately fast-tracked. It would be declared a national emergency. There is no slowing down a national emergency. I think the smartest thing to do is fucking step down. Step down. Let Pence.
Yeah, but there's a certain level of intellect that you're talking about here at the ability to be smart and step out of the way to stop at least the wild speculations from going on.
Yeah.
But this is not a person who's known to slow down wild speculation. He's kind of the get behind it and push as hard as possible kind of guy. Is just what he's been traditionally known for. So
I know
it's a tough discussion. Yeah. Like, you can speculate that these are the right moves and that these are the smart things to do, but then you go by proof of pudding, and none of what you say about what he should do is anything like what he's ever done in these moments where he should have handled things differently.
It's tough to figure out. I really, I had a lot of conversations with people last night. My phone didn't stop, besides the fact that my Instagram was duped. If you're friends with me on Instagram, you know me. Do not accept a friend's request for a new account. Dude's just trying to get money out of you. Instagram is way too busy dealing with who they're banning today to worry about my issue. But yeah, and like I said, I can't grasp, get a handle, figure out what the next move should be. I mean, impeachment, I really thought this morning he would have been laying in his bed with fucking 25th Amendment papers, pack your bag, get the fuck out. I really believe that. We said this months ago.
Well, I think it's such a delicate situation.
Yeah,
that you can't just do it. Because if you just do it, does it validate the suspicions that this group has? You know, I think this is like, it's a room full of eggs that aren't broke yet, but the slightest vibration, it will trigger an entire avalanche of yolk.
Right.
You know, I think it's very delicate. Like I said, with the fact that this hasn't happened since a British Empire tried to invade the Capitol building, there's so many things that are just on this level of outlandish behavior.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of things there's a lot of things that, I mean, if you take a step back and you look at, what did they call that, the Arab Summer?
Yeah.
I mean, just take a look at, like, in one hand, put the Arab Summer, and in the other hand, look at what COVID has done to this country, or maybe it's not COVID. COVID helped it along a lot, accelerating. We had these conversations. It's very much accelerated a timeline that this country was already heading to, and we talked about this at the end of the last election when Trump was in office and the Democrats were all sorts of pissed off and peeing in their pants and crying and not my president, and 4 years of that, and trying to impeach the man for 3.5 of those 4 years, not rallying around our president who was elected by the people for the people, you know, everything that this country stands upon. And Now you look at what's going on, and whether it's you want to say Trump's being a sore loser or his followership is just that chaotic, whatever you might want to say, it's just fitting into that timeline that we all talked about. Like, we very much might be having an American summer where it's nothing but the verge of civil war in this country.
Yeah,
and I mean, if you think about it, the last civil war was in the 1700s. 300 years is, or 225 years, whatever you want to call it, is not a whole lot of time.
No, but it's one hell of a run.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a run, but everything goes in a circle, and this circle is getting to the point where it's like winding its way back around. We're going to hit the noon hour.
They can see the start of it again, that's for sure. It's definitely...
Yeah, we're getting close to high noon. And I don't want to see it happen. Nobody wants to see it happen. Nobody wants war on their own land. Nobody wants to be forced to make choices. And not even the choices that we can even fathom having this conversation right now. Like the choices that you're unfathomably going to potentially have to make at some point in time.
Right.
When it comes to, God forbid,
answering the questions that we've avoided answering for a long time.
Well,
exactly.
Did either one of you actually watch Death to 2020 on Netflix?
Yes, I did.
I have not.
It was glorious.
Yeah, you haven't watched it, and you're a fool for not. This is one of those must-watches, okay?
Yeah,
it's a must-watch.
Pure comedic value, pure story-driven content of the levels that are just... It puts nice bows on a lot of different things and makes them very palatable to talk about. I'm also watching the history of swear words.
Yeah, I watched it. It was good.
I haven't watched all of it yet. I only got through fuck, shit, damn.
Damn, no, it was fuck, shit, pussy.
Fuck, shit, pussy, and damn.
Oh, fuck, shit, pussy, and damn. Right.
I think as far as I made it in, but that's very another one that's well worth it.
My point for bringing up Death to 2020 is in that Tracy Ullman, I believe it is, plays the British woman.
Oh yes, she plays the queen.
Right. No. I'm sorry. It's not how she does play the queen. That's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the other wacky, loopy, blonde hair. Maybe she's Irish. It plays an Irish one. I can't remember. She's the one who is found the new TV show to watch, the reality TV show. It's kind of like a game show.
Oh, that chick. Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, I found this new. It's The Americans.
Yeah, The Americans. It's just game show. And yesterday, as I'm sitting here watching things transpire, I turned to IDK and I said, remember that chick from fucking Death to 2020? She was fucking right.
Yeah, look.
Everything in the last 5 months has been like
the wildest reality TV show ever.
Supposed to come out and say tonight we're going to vote off somebody. I mean, it's a fucking game. It's like a Survivor game show. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen tomorrow. Challenge on the way. I mean, that was so fucking spot on. And it just goes to show you that the United States is looked upon by other countries as an utter fucking joke.
Well, I mean, we haven't necessarily put the best foot forward here as of late.
No, all we accomplished was beating up on China, who definitely infiltrated us and fucked shit up even more.
And I don't think we've seen. I mean, I was saying in jest, my whole crack last show about everyone's like, yay, so glad for 2020 to be over, and here comes 2021. It's gonna be such a great year, and I'm a firm believer that 2021 is gonna be. The 2020 was just the beginning.
Can't we just fast forward to like fucking Halloween now? Because I'm thinking by Halloween, we might have some resemblance of normalcy.
No, I'm not even talking about COVID. I'm talking about everything else that's going to occur.
I'm not even talking about COVID. I'm talking about everything.
Yeah, I don't think by the end of this year that we're going to be in any shape either. I think this is just the start of a burning matchbook.
Yep.
Hoping that's
I see. I hate to say it. I'm there with Thump. I mean, and no one wants to say it. No one wants to be
I
like
don't
a
want it to be
negative
true.
Nelly about
I
the.
would love
Yeah,
to be a liar.
Exactly. I would love for us to have this conversation on whatever the Thursday is in the first week of January next year. That you can sit there and tell
Look at how
Thump
much
and
we
I,
panicked
hey,
for nothing.
you were wrong.
Yeah, look at how
And
much
I
we
would
were
gladly
panicked for
sit there and
nothing. I
go,
would
you're
love it.
right. Yeah. But I honestly, I think this
be genuine.
our beloved, I think our beloved country is in a tailspin, and I think that tailspin is gaining momentum by the day. I think a real accelerator to this tailspin is going to be the additional numbers that are unfortunately going to come out due to the holiday season for COVID, the very guarded response or lackluster response or whatever response you want to call it coming from the states getting the vaccine out there for all those who want it. And you know, the articles that I'm reading now is there's a lot more people who don't want it than do want it, which is just as big of a problem as not having enough for everyone. You know, it's a double, again, it's another one of those double-edged swords. I think the violence is just going to grow.
How about the story that
be
came out
biggest...
today that there's that one pharmacy that's looking for people to come take the thing because they got 836 vials about their refrigeration units dead.
Yep. Yeah, they were trying to give it away or some shit. I think they did. I think they did administer it all. I know they were close to administering it all. That I know. I don't know if they ever did though. That I was following that on through the media today, whatever media it was. I don't remember if it was Independent, Social, or the news, but I'm pretty sure they got rid of most of them. I don't know.
Like 830 vials, so it was.
Refrigerator broke, and that they had the Mondera, so they could keep it at least at its core temperature for like 4 or 5 hours. After that, they thought they were in trouble. But I'm pretty sure I don't want to say they got rid of them all. I don't know. I know they got rid of a good majority. That I don't know. But yeah,
I think the social aspect of this country is where the problems are going to lie. Look, the economic divide is going to become a much larger topic this year. I think if taxes are raised like Biden is planning to do, and now he has a very easy way to do so because he controls majority in both houses of Congress, that is going to spurn a lot of discontent. I think just the social divide between the political sides of the country and, the little kernel of a nucleus of an atom that Trump has sparked because of his charisma.
Rhetoric?
No, a lot of it is his charisma. He's a master
of charisma. Yeah,
he's a master marketer. You're like you brought it up in the beginning of the show, Thump. You're like the amount of merchandise that was out there at the riot yesterday. Like, this man is a master marketer. He made his millions of dollars on marketing, not successful businesses. How he marketed those businesses so well that he got so much money from people buying into it.
Right, that and the tax breaks to build a
his charismatic nature over the past 4 years, actually the past 6 years, because you got to take the 2 years that, leading up to him becoming in political office when he was like, yeah, I'm going to go be president. Why not? Or however he went about saying whatever he was going to do.
Right.
All of those things together has created such a very sharp divide in this country. And the Democrats started that divide when they lost. Now the Republicans lost, and it's like one of those things, like a knife gets sharper the more you run stone over it. And the stone has been run, and now the Democrats won, so they're like, oh, look at our sword. It's so sharp and shiny. And now the Republicans are sitting here going, yeah, oh, well, wait, now you'll see what a sharp knife looks like, as they're vigorously rubbing their stone over the knife. It's in 4 years' time, it's going to be the same thing. the Republicans are going to find a candidate to kick Biden out of office, and we're just going to keep going through this vicious cycle until somebody magically comes along that the country loves.
We got that already. You know the deal. I've said this time and time again. This whole thing is playing out, like I said a couple months back. Trump's going to be removed. Whether it's tomorrow or the next day, it's going to happen, and it's going to be fast-tracked. If it's not, I'm surprised. There is a good possibility it isn't, only because the law of Amendment 25, Section 4 of Amendment 25, it's subject to interpretation. The law states you can remove a president if he's unable to fulfill his duties. That's it. There is no outline of what is considered not fulfilling his duties. So it's subject to interpretation, like most laws, subject to interpretation. That's why you always want a lawyer who understands the words subject to interpretation. So is it possible? It could be. Pelosi wants it. She's going to do whatever she can to get him out. If they impeach him, I'm telling you right now, you'll see that shit 2 days on CNN. Impeachment will happen. If Trump has 7 days left, he'll be thrown out. Pence becomes that vice president or president, number 46. He's going to face immense pressure to step the fuck down as Trump's sidekick, despite all of his disagreements.
I don't know. The last-ditch effort to separate himself from... I think the last-ditch effort to separate himself from Trump might have just worked in his favor.
Dude, I don't know if, in the eyes of the Democrats...
because he sat there with Pelosi and agreed to take the stance. I think that was the motivation, and I think that's what saved him.
And two, I think it would be very, very difficult to pass 2 25th Amendments within 2 weeks, because there is no way that they would be able to prove... There is no way they would be able to prove that Pence is unable to fulfill the duties of the White House.
No, he didn't format it like that. He said we forced Trump out of the situation and Pence steps down.
Right.
You're looking at a different philosophy of how to map this out. One is agreed upon at the moment that he had taken, just like we were talking about how Kamala would receive it from Biden, where essentially he'd do his presidency for 6 months and then step down. That's why there wouldn't have to be another amendment pass.
Look, last night you saw the entire shift of the government happen. 112 people in the House of Republican, House of Democrat, in the House. Excuse me.
I was like, just stop trying to add words to that.
House of Representatives.
Representatives. Thank you. 112 people in the House of Representatives are supporting Trump, even through his apparent downward spiral and media death.
Yeah, their names have all been listed through several websites as who the people are who stood with Trump.
And 9 senators in the Senate are supporting Trump. That's it. So you can't say that if they wanted him fucking removed, it would not be fast-tracked. And as far as the people who are out there condemning our senators and representatives for what they think is backing Trump, do your fucking research. A lot of these people were not backing the idea of a stolen election. They were backing the idea of election reform, which in my opinion is fucking huge.
Well, we all agreed going into this election that we did need a new unified federal voting response.
Look, Mitch McConnell was right with the stimulus package. You want the 2,000? Let's create this fucking branch to oversee elections. I don't want to hear any more 2016, 2020 repeat. Is this what I'm looking forward to in 2024? Another fucking election stolen? This shit's got to end. We already know that laws were changed. COVID was used as the excuse. Did the Democrats steal an election? It's possible. It's possible.
In the guise of legality.
Was it through fake votes? No. You want to know how the You want to know how it was stolen? I'll tell you how it was stolen. Changing the fucking laws, blaming it on a pandemic, and mailing ballots to everybody in the United States. Your duty to vote is to get up off your fucking ass, go stand in a line, flip a switch, press a button, whatever the fuck the case may be.
Okay, well, let's back your statement just a little bit, because everybody in the United States is an inaccurate statement, because the problem that we ended up running into across this election as a whole was the fact that there is not a federal response for an election. It is a states' rights. They govern each individually, and not like, because I wasn't mailed a ballot. Q wasn't mailed a ballot. So to say everybody in the United States, I think we need to tailor the statement to make it more accurate.
160 million ballots were mailed out. In the state of New Jersey, 10 million were mailed out. It was by order of the governor to do it. The state legislation never heard the case. Never went to the Supreme Court of New Jersey or the Supreme Court of Ohio or the Supreme Court of Florida.
Right. There are several states that were involved in what could be a degree of voter seizure.
Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I actually think it's the wave of the future. That's it. You're going to get a mail-in ballot next year or 4 years from now, period. Don't matter what state you're in, they're going to mail out 330 million, end of story. Maybe not in fucking 2 states who make up their own rules, like Maine.
Well, considering elections are run by the states individually anyway, that's why I said, with state elections, I don't disagree with that. But on a federal level, with a federal election, I kind of believe we need a better
system,
federal response to that, because of how big we are now. I think we need to change some things on that level, and there needs to be a little bit of separation during a federal election for the federal electorate process. Like, I do believe that there needs to be some modifications made there, and I believe the state should be responsible for their local government.
Yeah.
And that can all be handled within state election boards, but then we need a federal election board to deal with a federal election.
We need one system. We need one voting system. If fucking American Idol can do this off of cell phones, and I get it, they're not going to be hacked. Oh, wait. Yes, they are.
Also, you're allowed to vote multiple times, too. So,
yeah.
American Idol's a bad example.
But not too many years ago, when it was one vote, and they were figuring out how to stuff in ballots over the internet and shit like that. You can only vote so many times through an email address. And people were figuring needs to be one system, a secure system to tally and count the fucking votes. Wasn't too many years ago or too many elections ago. One night, you went to bed knowing who your president was. That shit was counted by fucking hand that night. Yeah, it was certified the next day, but it never changed. You went to bed knowing who the president was. You woke up and the news headlines are, certification of elections, here's your new president. Fucking a week, 10 days, blaming on a pandemic, millions upon millions of early voting.
It helped create the cloud that we're still walking in now, with given the option of time to discuss it being fraudulent.
You got 4 years to figure it out. End of story. End of story. 4 years. Pay a fucking company to build an app. Oh, wait, you tried that. That was a nightmare. And it didn't work. And the first fucking state that had a primary, it took 2.5, 3 weeks to fucking certify it because your shit was bullshit. Figure out a system that works nationwide.
Yeah, need a federal response for federal election. It's just kind of, I think that should be mandated for that,
I don't disagree with some sort of committee to figure that the fuck out. I agree with Mitch Connell, first time ever. Section 230, that's a whole nother issue I don't even want to discuss anymore, because I personally think that should be ripped up, torn out, and refigured out.
Media companies net media companies have definitely been on a very, very long leash that doesn't seem to be getting any shorter for quite some time. Does need to be reevaluated.
I will say this. The move by Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok to ban the president for
Facebook is Instagram, so
well, but they're considered two separate entities as far as they're concerned.
Yeah, but as far as their policy rollout, though, it's all one. It's one decision. So
banning the president's account was nothing more than a political move with the change of hands of a government to make yourself look better, so that they maybe forget about the fucking investigations into you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they are at this point, to a degree, another form of mainstream media. So yes, it would make sense to relegate and lump these people into the category that they need to be in.
Social media companies, as a lump sum, kind of like the way we talk about the FANG of the stock market, the social medias are the fourth largest lobby group to the government. The three above them are your usual alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and then there's social media. So they definitely had a reason to do what needs to be done. Twitter banned the president for 24 hours. That happened sometime about 5 a.m. With the stipulation of remove the 3 tweets. And once you remove those 3 tweets, actually, I think the ban was at like 3 a.m. Right after it was 3 a.m. Right after the Biden was inaugurated, boom, he was banned. The stipulation was remove the 3 tweets, and we'll unlock your account in 12 hours, sometime by 5 a.m. Trump obviously removed the tweets because at 7 p.m. he got his Twitter account back. 7:10 he posted his first tweet, an only tweet, a video. Has anybody watched it? Are you interested in hearing it? It's 2 minutes and 41 seconds long.
Not necessary, really.
Okay.
I mean, you can give us the synopsis.
I didn't even listen to it myself. It just popped up right, but I was busy doing show prep shit and trying to figure out what the fuck I was going to do here tonight. I didn't watch it at all. I don't know if you were interested or not. I will watch it, whether it's off show or not. But I'm curious to see what his reaction is to all of this and whether or not he actually finally fucking concedes, because so far he still hasn't conceded. Nothing to mention. I mean, what kind of shit is that? What kind of balls is that?
Here we go.
He came out earlier saying, I have it here. Hold on.
Transition of power.
Yeah. Aren't you capitulating at that point?
Don't you have to forfeit a match, tap out? You have to wave a white.
In a video statement, President Trump promises a smooth transition of power. And says serving as president was the honor of my lifetime.
Nowhere in there does he say, I lost, I concede.
If he's admitting to a smooth transition of power, I mean, that's essentially doing it.
Yeah, well, those statements were made yesterday.
I believe they were in that.
I got a notification like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, but the statement, I knew about it last night. I knew about the conflicting statement of the president with actions when I got home at 3 o'clock in the morning. So this is definitely a statement that was made very far previously. One of the articles that I saw when I got home was that he was saying about an orderly transfer of power, at the same time doubling down to the base of supporters that there was still fraud.
No modern era president has ever not conceded. How far back? That's what I'm trying to find out, but I'm pretty sure it's going back to 1876. Isn't that the one where they had the big fucking fight? If I'm not mistaken. Someone can fact check that on me. I'm usually pretty close. I don't know when it was, but no modern president has ever not conceded. Not even through the Al Gore bullshit. He conceded. I don't know how far back I have to go. Conceding would be the right thing to do at this point. I mean,
but we've said that concede in this entire conversation so far over the past hour. We've said that conceding would be right and stepping down would be right.
Number one, get the fuck out.
These are logical, fairly well thought out decisions by all of us. That just admit you lost and get the hell out of Dodge would be the best thing to do. But we also know that this isn't necessarily a person who's known for doing the most logical, sense-based.
And doing anything and everything against the law. It's been 124 years since a president has not succeeded. 124 years. And to think, for quite some time, there still is. There's still a lot of people who think this guy's fucking is the man. My fucking neighbor down the block is still flying a huge 4x6 flag.
Yeah. I mean, based on the actions of yesterday, that is not surprising. And also, sure, there was some Antifa in this group. I'm not doubting the fact that there are all types of influencers in this group. I'm sure there's some QAnon, and I'm sure there's some BLM around the corner somewhere. I'm sure everybody showed up for this because it was a big event. But yeah, like to sit and not also say that this was a huge support base that also showed up here, would also be to lie to ourselves as well. Like, I think everybody showed up to play in the rain.
How many people do you think it was?
I don't know, because one of the most hilarious photos that I saw of the entire thing was one that was on maybe CNN or something like that, and it was like, rioters storming the Capitol was the caption at the bottom of the screen, but it was people in Trump support gear,
right,
walking through the statuary, where there was a rope on either side of them, and it went from one side of the building to the other side of the building, and they were all in between these little barricades, these little rope walls, and they were just walking through, and I'm like, okay,
the first guy with the camera looked like he was about 68 years old.
Well, it looked like a tour group that was coming through, not a riot or protest of any sort. And I'm like, man, I was like, that picture itself is propaganda but I don't know who's putting it out. Like, I couldn't tell you what the motivation was behind it, but I'm like, to caption the photo with rioters and to show this picture, you're almost doing something it looks like bullshit.
And the old lady who looked like she was walking with a cane or some shit. I mean, people were trying to help her along. I saw that video.
There was some real wild things, like wild stuff. Like the meme that's going around right now across the internet is Trump supporters demonstrating how much building a wall doesn't work, and it's all the people coming over the wall, and so there's clever people out there making very clever statements. But there's a lot that needs to be sorted through in what that was.
I don't know. Dear Mr. Donald Trump, I don't know what you should do. I think you should step down. I think a lot of people think you should step down. Get on Air Force One. Don't forget to pack a bag first. Fly to Andrews Air Force Base. Jump on the fucking chopper and get out of Dodge. I can't help you where to go.
Not for anything. I'm mad at all of this because it cost me a very good Twitch emote.
No shit, I was going to get to that too. I don't know where you're going to go. Norway told you they didn't want you. You signed papers with the state of Florida saying you wouldn't live at Mar-a-Lago, so you can't go there. Andrew Cuomo would love to have you to come to New York.
Yeah, but New York would not like you to come to New York, so that's another problem.
Like said it, yeah. I mean, I don't know, bro, but you got to get.
You know what he needs to do? He needs to go buy one of those islands that isn't owned by any country.
Oh, Jeffrey Epstein's island?
Sure, he can go buy that island and live there.
Pardon?
Yeah.
No extradition
Pardon Julian
treaty.
Assange and go live
No
with him.
nothing.
He can't.
No nothing.
Britain won't give him up.
Well, Mexico already offered him asylum, which I don't quite understand, considering Mexico has one of the strictest freedom of speech or anti-freedom of speech laws on the rule book.
Yeah, and I don't know. The world's a crazy place right now. I agree with the boys here who think it's going to take some time for like Ren said. See you January 6th of 2022. That's a Thursday. Let's
Is it really?
God, I hope I'm wrong, but
yeah.
I honestly don't think I'm going to be wrong on this.
Yeah,
I just see we're in such a tailspin right now that it's just going to get faster and faster and worse and worse. And before we know it, we're going to be sitting here doing 8-Bit Bros going, well, it was nice being on the internet for so ever long in time, because who knows if this is going to be our last show.
January 6th.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw that. That's weird because this one we were a day back from everything from before.
January 6th, we'll revisit this.
And I mean, who knows? I mean, for all we know, within the next 6 months, our entire, infrastructure of electricity could be shut down by some foreign government, and we're living in the Stone Age.
Well, allegedly, they had access to the electric grids. Allegedly.
Just think, I mean, that is not an unfathomable thing to think right now.
No.
That would cripple this country more than blowing it up.
See, and not for anything, how pissed off do you think ISIS is right now? That they didn't think to send over a bunch of their fucking suicide bombers dressed up in camouflage, wearing a backwards fucking magma hat, and just walk into the fucking Capitol building and...
So, at what point did these people become Vulcanists?
I don't know. When that's
well,
a good
because you keep saying they're wearing magma hats and.
Oh, excuse me, MAGA. Well, right now it is fucking magma. It should be schmegma at this point.
No, not schmegma.
Yes, MAGA hats. Okay, but yeah, I mean, how pissed is ISIS? They didn't think about this first. They're still trying to figure out how to fly a fucking plane into a building, as per the FAA Wednesday.
Tuesday. I put that on the show Tuesday. That came out right before we went on air.
That's still a thing?
I don't think so. They said it was incredible, and then we had fucking people storm the castle. Have fun storming the castle.
They did.
So fucked up. Yeah, that was a blatant attack on democracy. I'm sorry. I'm.
Yeah, but now becomes dissecting all the players that were involved in the attack, because the thing is like you said at the start, there was the representation that is known representation from groups that were not the group that seemingly was represented as a whole. Not to say that the group wasn't there represented, but there were also more nefarious. It's just like back with the George Floyd protests and stuff like that. All the documentation from people stating that there were government-issued vehicles and unmarked and officers and military personnel and stuff like that, where all these bricks randomly happened to show up that weren't there the day before. Like, so so much cloak and dagger to the whole thing.
Right, so it's very important to let the story unfold before you jump to conclusions. Office Space, I'm going to make this game called Jump to Conclusions. I mean, you can't do that. And media makes it easy to do that.
Well,
all forms
real time news makes it. This is where Twitter is great because you can get real time news, but Twitter is bad.
Look, everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt. I know we started off the show talking about how we were getting our news off of Twitter, but one of the most publicized videos to come off of Twitter was the 26-second video of what it looks like Capitol Police moving the barricades and letting the protesters at that point become rioters onto this make their way to the front of the Capitol building or the side. Now, we don't know. Was it a point where they saw fucking 800 people in front of them for 5 guys and said, we need to back the fuck up because our job is to protect the front doors? Because the Capitol building has 4 levels of defense. People don't know this. There's cops on the inside. There's their little barricade bullshits. There's cops in front of that. And then there's your metal detectors. And then there's the people outside. Only outside when there's supposed to be special events like this. Usually there's like 1 guard at the Capitol. So we don't know. Did they look, okay, I'm supposed to do my job. My job is to protect this building. I am not a police officer. I am a fucking Capitol Police. My job and my only job is to protect this building and whoever's in it.
Yep.
They don't chase a guy down the street and write him a ticket for jaywalking.
No.
Don't pull you over and give you a ticket for speeding.
Unless you do it across Capitol grounds.
Well, yes, across the lawn. But they have one job to protect the building.
Which has been done before.
This is true. So, jumping to conclusions is a big problem, especially on social media, too. I mean, like I said, bro, 27-second video, and it's on every fucking news network going, look, they let them in. I thought the same thing, too. I posted it on Facebook. They let them in. And then I thought about it, and then I looked, and then I looked more, and I watched videos from other people. It doesn't look good. I mean, the one cop turning his back and walking towards the stairs, walking. As in and then the other guy going, come on, let's go. Don't know if he was a cop or not. You can't tell in the video.
I don't want to miss an opportunity before I have to get out of here. Congratulations to the 6 female coaches that made the playoffs this year. 2 of first that will face off are the 2 coaches that are on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the 1 female coach on the Washington football team. They will be head-to-head on Saturday.
And the female refs have been put onto the playoff ref roster.
Yes.
There's a plus there. And to take that a step further, didn't a baseball team just hire somebody in upper management?
I haven't been involving myself with baseball at all yet in any way, shape, or form. I'm so frustrated because my team has made some moves that they promised us wouldn't be made, especially in this time frame.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're the fact that we're restructuring instead of continuing a build process is disturbing as a Cubs fan. So I've kind of left baseball alone because of that. Like, I'm already frustrated with just my own team. I don't give a damn about the rest of the league.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think there should be more there than just a rebuild, and Mets are taking advantage of shit. It's smart money bet for you last year. Whatever I bet on the Mets to lose 59 games or less or 39 games or less, whatever it was, take the over this year. Whatever it is, take the over. It's going to be low, and they should win 75. Speaking of sports and how we got there, I'm not sure. Thump, thoughts on who should be your starting quarterback for the playoffs?
I think it's a game. I think it's part of the playoff play. I think it's a Belichick book of the playoffs, and I'm going to list all of my starters on the injury report, and you're not going to know who's showing up on Sunday.
Sure.
Personally, that's the only thing I can roll with right now. I don't know what level of credibility to hold it to. I don't know what to say about the fact that they've got Hinkie out there doing whatever with starting reps right now. I don't know, because, I mean, we shouldn't be there.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah, I mean,
we're a sub 500 team and a sub 500 team in the playoffs. It's just one of those things where now this is the third time it's happened.
Yeah, I respect saying that first off, and I want everybody else to understand that as a hometown guy saying his team doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's one of those things with just if by record alone, I applaud Bruce for what he said when he was talking about, this isn't a 7-9 team we're facing. This is a 4-1 team because Alex Smith's record as the starter was a 4-1 record. So if Alex Smith is the quarterback that he's going to be facing on Saturday, it is a different team than the team that was there for the entirety of the season. And I applaud him for making that kind of assessment about it and really taking serious what this game is, because that's the team he's facing is an Alex Smith-led team with a very young, problematic, number 1 ranked defense on the other side. Like, he knows and has thought about what is on the plate in front of him. And I don't doubt that Ron has done the same thing. These are not for anything. Ron, coming from Carolina, is very knowledgeable about Tampa Bay and what Tampa Bay has done. So this is a weird rivalry match of sorts between these two guys.
Well, Tampa Bay's beatable. And
yeah.
The Reds can beat them.
Washington's already been called. Like, you look at what New Orleans did with Tampa. And nobody would disagree the fact that this DC defense is better than that New Orleans defense.
Yeah.
And so just to put that platter together, Tom's going to have his hands full if Washington can perform the way they are known to be able to.
Yeah.
And this will be the toughest defense that Brady's had to face all season.
True. Ren.
Yes, sir.
Aaron Rodgers. MVP or not?
MVP.
You think?
I think so.
MVP or Super Bowl MVP?
Both.
Okay, how often has that happened ever in the league?
I don't know.
The MVP is like the consolation prize that basically says you're not getting a Super Bowl, right?
Exactly.
I think that all depends on how the game actually plays out.
I think it's hilarious. Your response,
if they make it to the Super Bowl, and he throws like 4 or 5 touchdowns, how do you not give it to him?
Well, I think it's hilarious, your response, because I've got several Green Bay people at work, and they've all said that same statement, because I've asked the question, MVP or trophy? Does he want to be the champ or the MVP? And all of them have said both.
He's having one of those seasons. I mean, do they make it to the Super Bowl? I don't know.
You got to get there first, and
exactly. Do they even get out of their?
What, does the week off hurt them or help them? Like, we don't know.
Historically speaking, a week off for Green Bay hurts them more than it helps them.
It hurts every team. There's only been a few who can come off that win.
So if Green Bay can make it through the first round, gain some momentum, make it to the championship game, let's start with that, because they only got to win, one game, and then they're in the championship game.
That's right. Got to win one to get in. Win and you're in.
So they win.
It's like a wild card.
They make it to the championship game. They win the championship game, and they make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, and they win the Super Bowl. I honestly wouldn't be surprised, but just because of the type of season they've had. I mean, Webb, you've been saying it all year. Green Bay scoring 40-plus points every game on average. Not every game, but the average score that they're putting up for the season of 7 to 16 games is over 40 points. If they can carry that momentum, bring a Super Bowl back to Green Bay again, of course, I'm going to be a happy person. Am I going to be utterly surprised? Not really, because of the year that they've had.
Right. Yeah, it's a team that would be the stamp that goes, yeah, see, that's what you expect out of football when a team plays this well, this long, this is the result.
Yeah, and the one thing that I'm going to give credit for is the organization going against the curve and hiring a young head coach in Matt LaFleur.
Okay.
It's his second year. It's Rodgers' second year in LaFleur system. And outside of the 3 games they lost, which a lot of them they did to themselves with poor defense and Rodgers making some untimely mistakes is why they lost those games. It says a lot about that man's like mental, like
fortitude,
offensive game planning. Unlike previous coaches in Green Bay, like here's the formula, and you could go into every game and you could be like, okay, they're going to run the ball, they're going to run the ball, they're going to pass. Like here, you have no idea what they're going to do because they line up in the same formation for almost every play. You don't know if it's a run or if it's a pass, and if it's a pass, who's going to get the ball? Like it's like almost like LaFleur took some game offensive planning from the Peyton Book of offensive planning with Drew Brees.
I give you a trivia question. You ready? Kansas City will play this week in the divisional game. If they win,
they got the bye week too.
Right, they got next week. Right, they got the bye week. That's why they're playing a division game and going to the championship. If they win that division game next week, they'll be the only team in the AFC to play in the championships 3 years in a row, back to back to back. Who on the NFC side has done it?
One more time?
Who on the NFC side has won back to back to back? 3-time championship winners. Back to back to back. Kansas City
conference championship or
conference. If Kansas City wins this week, they go to the conference 3 years in a row.
Yeah, has gone to the conference final
3 years in a row. Who on the NFC side has done that?
Dallas Cowboys with Aikman and Emmitt Smith.
Thump, you want to give it a shot?
I mean, I'm gonna say I think I've seen it with New Orleans, and I think it's happened with shit.
I have an addition when Thump is done.
Okay.
Option B.
I think I'm gonna agree with like maybe the Cowboys have done it before, but I think the NFC has like I think they have a list of like teams that have managed to make it to the championship game like that.
Maybe it's the last one to do it on the NFC side. Damn it, in front of me. I tried to memorize it. What was
my addition? Is the 49ers with Montana.
That's quite
or Young.
See, I think I was wrong. It may have been who was the last one to do it in the NFC.
Okay, who was the last one?
Same coach.
Oh, Eagles.
Oh, that's right. No, I did. I read that. He's the only coach to do well. It's the first time for the AFC, and the last one for the NFC was Philadelphia, 2001 to 2004.
2002, 2004. Yeah. 2002, 2003, 2004. Yeah.
Right, but that's season from 2001 to 2004 because the gap years on it.
And people for math they might think that's 4.
Well, 1 to 4 is 3 years. So
yeah. He's the last one. The Eagles are the last team in the NFC to do it. And
right, and Andy Reid with Kansas City is the first for.
And it's Andy on both sides of the leagues, which I thought was quite interesting tidbits. As far as what I think about my team, we'll lose in the playoffs. We'll probably get robbed in the playoffs again. 3 years.
You think it'll be an officiating decision that cost y'all the game?
I think it's going to be a bad play or a bad call that costs it.
So,
One of those fucked up interceptions or a bad call on the field from a ref. Why do I say this? My team looked great. We beat nobody. 10-6. Is that where we finished? No. 12-4. And we beat one team with a 500 record, and we did it twice.
Bucks.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We lost to Green Bay. We lost to the Raiders. Do we got a shot at the Super Bowl? Absolutely. Any given Sunday. Did I bet him back in September to go to the Super Bowl? Yes, I did. That was a homer bet, without a doubt. But I think we get beat. I'd like to see Saints play Green Bay. I'd like to lose to Green Bay. That'd be nice. But yeah, I don't think they make it. As much as the Redskins can win, they can beat Tampa Bay. Is it going to happen? Who knows? Is it possible? Yeah, I watched the Patriots all year long. Mike Evans, who the fuck is that? Did nothing all year. Looked horrible. Brady throwing balls into the stands to fans that weren't even there because he thought they were players. It's horrible. I watched 9 games of the Buccaneers. I don't think I go much further. First round would be nice. Just win this one and move on. Beat the Bears. Fuck the Bears.
I'd like for the storyline. I'd like to see my young defense be able to pull off the win. I mean, I'm for it. Like, I don't not agree with that as a thing. Like, I think that's pretty cool. But realistically, this team's shot at making a real run. There's instability at the quarterback position. The offense is not able to compete. There are point scoring teams in the playoffs right now.
Yep.
Like, you look around and you look at the scores that have been put up by your Buffaloes and your Tampas and your Green Bays, and you look at these 40 plus score games and you're like, holy shit, look at the points. Now, my defense is solid, and I'd like to be able to, if they do what they do, they stop these 40 banger teams. But if they can't, I know my offense can't score like that at all.
Yeah. I mean, Green Bay was the number 1 scoring team this year. But they definitely were not the number 1 team to give up the least amount of points. They fall way down on the list. So they score points, but they give up points. Buffalo, same thing. Big scoring team, gives up a lot of points. New Orleans Saints scores a lot of points, gives up a lot. You're right. There are a lot of teams in the playoffs that score points, but there are also a lot of teams in the playoffs that give up points.
Well, yeah, that's how we had so many point-scoring teams this year, is because there was not a lot of defenses that were out there doing super hella shit on defense. Like, there's only a few of those. There was like 4 teams that were really good at stopping big score games.
Los Angeles Rams didn't give up points. Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, Washington comes in 4th at not giving up points. Not. Now, Washington almost gave up as many points as they scored, so that doesn't bode well. But
right, like I said, they're not the big scoring team, but
it's going to be interesting to see how this weekend plays out. I bring this up and get here to this point because it is Thursday, and this is our last show of the week. If you're a bettor out there, bet smart. You got 6 teams who are playing. 3 games, 6 teams. You want to make money? Bet the guys who are going to score touchdowns. It's free money. 8-Bit Bros, Thursday. We'll see you next Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, with probably a much better show. 8-Bit Bros, Tuesday, Thursday. We're out.